Hey everybody! Today we're going to be reading chapter 15 of Deuteronomy. And after I get done reading scripture, I'm going to explain what I think about it, how I feel about it. And I'm not an expert in scripture at all, so please do not lean on my understanding, but trust in the Lord for understanding and for guidance. And if I mispronounce any names, places, people, words, anything like that, I do apologize. And I'm reading from my Bible. It's the New Living Translation for those who want to follow along. And I do apologize for the noise in the background. If you do hear it, I'm in my car. And the radiator is fixed and everything, so the heat is working and stuff. And my car is not overheating anymore, so everything is great. But I do want to tell y'all that why my license plates had got stolen. They had got stolen off my car when I had, towed my car to the car shop, and I left my car there overnight because I couldn't drive it because it was overheating. So, and if you drive your car while it's overheating and stuff, that could ruin your engine. So, I had to leave my car there overnight. So why in the morning when they opened and stuff, when the car shop opened, they saw that my license plates were gone, but they didn't notify me because they're the clients that they have, the people that come to them to get their cars worked on, they always take their license plates with them. So they assumed that I had did that as well, so that's why they didn't notify me. But so yeah, basically when I picked up my car, I had to file a police report. So I went through, all of that, filed the report to let them know that my license plate was stolen. But before I filed the report, I went on ahead and got some new license plates. So, yep, I'm driving around with new license plates now, and the old ones have been reported stolen. So, and the reason why I needed to do a police report, even though I got new license plates and they said that, with the new license plate number and everything and tags and stuff like that, the old ones are no longer valid. The reason why they still wanted me to do a police report was because those old license plate, numbers and stuff like that, if it's ran, in the system or whatever, it'll come up under your name because it used to be your license plate numbers and stuff. And you don't want anything, to happen. Like you don't want any responsibility for what someone else does, while they got your old license plates on, basically. So, I filed a police report and reported it stolen. That way, if something was to happen, if somebody was to do something wrong, or sinful or whatever, while they got my license plates, once the license plates are ran, the police will be able to see, oh, these license plates are stolen, so therefore, what happened, I'm not liable for it. They are, because I reported it stolen, and I got new license plates, so they're no longer, valid and stuff. So basically, it's just to cover me, make sure that I'm good. So all of that is done, and I'm super happy that I have my car back. I pray that nothing else happen to this car until until I graduate. Like I would love to go like a year without having to do anything for this car, but just get oil changes done and stuff. But the Lord got my back, just like he had my back this time. He always had my back. So, I'm not really too much worried about it. But yeah, I'm trying to hold on to her for as long as I can. I'm trying to hold on to my car as long as I can, because she's 20 years old. She's still hanging in there. This is my first car. So it was a gift to me. So I'm trying to hold on to her. I already put a lot of money in her, and I'm gonna keep on doing so until I just can't anymore, because I want to hold on to her. I don't have to pay no car note or anything. All I do is pay car insurance, and I barely pay anything in personal property tax, because my car not really worth anything because she's so old. like with the radiator and stuff, it took so long for them to fix it. I had to wait like over a week in order for them to fix my car because they were having trouble finding a radiator for her. Like they had to go through they had to order 5 different radiators just to try and get one that fit my car. So yep. But she back though. I'm back in her, and I feel good. I feel good that I got my car back, and I just thank the Lord, that I was in a safe place when it happened. Yeah, I was up here at Panera, like I am now. I was in a safe place when it happened, and it was just a radiator. It wasn't. I'm not gonna say it wasn't nothing major, because I mean that sounds major to me. I don't really know much about cars, but it sounds major to me. Had to replace the whole radiator and stuff, but I'm just happy that it was done and that it got fixed. So y'all be praying for me that I keep my car for as long as I can, that I at least keep it till I graduate from college with my master's degree and start working a job in my career, because once I get to that point, then I'll be able to literally replace my car. I'll be able to get a new car, hopefully, if I make enough money to do so. But honestly, I feel like even if I don't, I'm still gonna try, because I need a new car. I need a more reliable car, one that's not gonna have problems every several months, like every 4 or 5 months or something. Like I shouldn't have to be fixing. I shouldn't have to make major repairs to my car twice a year. I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to go some years without having to do that type of stuff. All I should be worried about is getting the oil changes done when it's time, and just the basic stuff, oil changes, making sure all of the liquids and solutions and stuff like that need to be in the cars there, like antifreeze and all that. Tires, checking the tires and all that. Just the basic stuff. Like I shouldn't be worried about whether or not my car is gonna stop, running or whatever, So just pray for me on that. But yeah, I had to update y'all real quick on what's going on with me with the car. So I have it back. So glad everything is fixed as far as I know, and I pray that it stays that way. In terms of my practicum at the hospital, my internship, at the hospital, they did contact me, and the legal agreement is finally done. Yay! And they emailed it to me. I believe that's the legal agreement. I'm not sure if it's the whole thing, but if it is, then that's great. But yeah, they sent me the legal agreement. I read I read the whole thing, and I have to get a drug test and a background check and stuff in order for me to work at the hospital, because it's a hospital. Even though I'm not gonna be employed by them, even though I'm just doing a practicum, just practicing there, in order to get my credit hours and stuff for school, for college. Still, I'm gonna be working with them. I'm gonna be working with the patients, so they need to make sure that I'm good. So I got the drug test done already. Of course, I passed it. There's no drugs in my system, because I don't do drugs. So I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. So passed it, sent that information over to the hospital so they have it, and now I gotta do my background check. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, because today's Sunday. You guys gonna be seeing this. Yeah, y'all gonna be seeing this video on Monday. So basically, when y'all see this video, I'm gonna be doing my background check. So I'm gonna get that done, and then once that's done, I'm gonna send it over to the hospital, and then we're gonna see what else I need to do. I know it's some type of paperwork on that. It's some type of place on that legal agreement where I do have to sign and date it. So I'm gonna do that too. Like once I get my background check done, I'm gonna sign and date that and go ahead and get that done. But yeah, basically it sounds like I'm finna be doing my practicum like super soon, like sometime this month. it's December. So sometime this month I'm gonna start, my practicum. So I'm gonna be really happy about that. So once I start though, like I'm gonna be wearing scrubs. I wanna wear scrubs. I don't want to wear business casual because I feel like you gotta have too many clothes, too many different outfits in order to do that. But with scrubs, you can just buy like 2 or 3 pairs and then just wear them all the time. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then once I actually start working professionally in the field, like once I actually get my master's degree and once they actually like employ me, as an employee, then I'll get more scrubs and I'll be wearing a different color scrub every day, since that's gonna be like my normal thing that I wear to work. Because scrubs, I heard that they feel so good and they feel like you're wearing pajamas to work. And then of course, since I work in a hospital and stuff, I'm gonna have to wear tennis shoes, which I love anyway. That's the only thing I do wear is tennis shoes. I don't like heels or nothing like that. But yep, that's what's going on with my practicum. I'm starting soon. Basically, I'm doing everything that I need to do in order for me to start. All of the documentation information that the hospital needs from me in order for me to start, I'm going to give them that, and I'm giving them that. So still don't have a job, but as y'all already know or probably guessed, like I have to do 600 hours worth of practicum. Like basically I have to work 600 hours at the hospital in order for me to complete my practicum. Fall semester is basically over. Like Wednesday is like my last day of class for fall semester, and then it's over. So since basically I wasn't able to do any hour, like I was supposed to do 300 hours this fall semester, but it's over now, and I haven't even started yet. So basically I'm gonna have to try and get all of my hours done over winter break and in the spring. And then I'm gonna have to still get the other 300 hours done, that I'm supposed to be doing in the spring semester. I'm gonna have to get that done in the spring and over the summer, which is why I'm not gonna be taking a summer class. So yep, basically during the spring semester, so fall break, which is like, I'm sorry, not fall break, winter break, which is like for a month. So winter break, spring semester, and summer break, I'm gonna be doing my 600 hours worth of practicum. For practicum. So I plan on doing I plan on working up there at the hospital for like 5 hours Monday through Friday. If they want me to work the weekend, I don't mind doing that, because as a social worker, sometimes you do have to work on the weekend. So it all depends on the agency and what all they want you to do. But if I have to work on the weekend, that's fine. And I'll be up there on the weekend. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get as many hours as I can done. But it's like I don't want to overwhelm myself either, because in the spring I'm still gonna have to take a class along with doing my hours. So it's a good thing. Basically, it's a good thing that I don't have a job, because I literally need all of this time in order to get all of my hours done, since I've started so late. It's almost like I'm finna be working like a part-time or full-time job just doing my practicum hours. So it's like there's gonna be no time in the day in order for me to actually have a job making income. So that's why I'm blessed that I'm using loans in order to pay for college. So with whatever loan money that they don't end up using in order for me to, in order to pay for my classes and stuff, I always get that money back from them. So I always end up getting loan money. So basically I'm living off of that right now. Like I stay with a relative, I stay with my granny. So, I don't have to worry about paying, like for a place or anything, because I stay with her. But I still have, my bills that I pay, anything that come up with this car. I have what else? Phone bill, the typical little bills, that people be having when they don't have a place. So yeah, I still got my bills and stuff, and I basically use the refund money in order to do that. So yep, that's what I'm doing. Yep, so no job. I'm not gonna have one until I finish this practicum, honestly. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So I finish this practicum, I'm not gonna have a job, because I gotta utilize all my time in order to get this practicum done. So I'm happy that my practicum gonna be starting soon, and I'm happy that I got my car back. And I'm just so blessed that everything is working out. And I'm thankful for the help and everything that I received from my granny and stuff. I really do appreciate her, because without her, sometimes I don't know what I do. But I thank the Lord, that He blessed me with such a family, with certain family members who are able to help me out financially and everything. Because, yeah, I mean, we all need help in this world. We all need help. We can't do it by ourselves. All of these people who say, I did it by myself, you didn't. Like, the only way, like basically, you can't do it by yourself. Because you need someone to give you a chance in order for you to be able to work, in order to, be successful. Someone somewhere has to give you a chance. Someone somewhere has to give you some type of help, and I just don't see how someone can truly do it on their own. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Like, there is no way. And it, and if someone wants to argue me, down about, about them not needing no human help, well, you wouldn't have anything if the Lord didn't permit it. So, truly we all have help from God. God is the one who, planned out our life and stuff. God is the one who always provides and who helps us, So, like, if you feel like you didn't get no human help, well, I know most definitely that God has helped you in some kind of way. He has supported you or provided for you in some kind of way. Like, He has. Like, so you really can't dispute you not having no help. Like, I feel like the only person in this world who does things without help is God Himself. That's it. Everybody else need help. So, anyway, without further ado, let's finally get started with scripture. My bad. I've been talking for a little minute, but I just had to update y'all on what all is going on. So, alright, let's get started with scripture. At the end of every seventh year, you must cancel the debts of everyone who owes you money. This is how it must be done. Everyone must cancel the loans they have made to their fellow Israelites. They must not demand payment from their neighbors or relatives, for the Lord's time of release has arrived. This release from debt, however, applies only to your fellow Israelites, not to the foreigners living among you. There should be no poor among you, for the Lord your God will greatly bless you in the land He is giving you as a special possession. You will receive this blessing if you are careful to obey all the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The Lord your God will bless you as He has promised. You will lend money to many nations, but will never need to borrow. You will rule many nations, but they will not rule over you. But if there are any poor Israelites in your towns, when you arrive in the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted towards them. Instead, be generous and lend them whatever they need. Do not be mean-spirited and refuse someone a loan because the year for canceling debts is close at hand. If you refuse to make the loan and the needy person cries out to the Lord, you will be considered guilty of sin. Even generously to the poor, not grudgingly, for the Lord. Give generously to the poor, not grudgingly, for the Lord your God will bless you in everything you do. There will always be some in the land who are poor. That is why I am commanding you to share freely with the poor and with other Israelites in need. If a fellow Hebrew sells himself or herself to be your servant and serves you for 6 years, in the 7th year you must set that servant free. When you release a male servant, do not send him away empty-handed. Give him a generous farewell gift from your flock, your threshing floor, and your winepress. Share with him some of the bounty with which the Lord your God has blessed you. Remember that you were once slaves in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you. That is why I am giving you this command. But suppose your servant says, I will not leave you, because he loves you and your family, and he has done well with you. In that case, take a owl and I think it's pronounced aloe, I don't know, ale, and push it through his earlobe into the door. After that, he will be your servant for life, and do the same for your female servants. You must not consider it a hardship when you release your servants. Remember that for 6 years they have given you service worth double the wages of hired workers, and the Lord your God will bless you in all you do. You must set aside for the Lord your God all the firstborn males of your flocks and herds. Do not use the firstborn of your herds to work your fields, and do not shear the firstborn of your flocks. Instead, you and your family must eat these animals in the presence of the Lord your God each year at the place he chooses. But if this firstborn animal has any defect, such as lameness or blindness, or if anything else is wrong with it, you must not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. Instead, use it for food for your family in your hometown. Anyone, whether ceremonially clean or unclean, may eat it, just as anyone may eat a gazelle or deer. But you must not consume the blood. You must pour it out on the ground like water. Thus ends the reading of chapter 15 of Deuteronomy. So it was a pretty short chapter. I have quite a few things to say though about it, because I covered some stuff that I wanted to talk about. So at the beginning, it talks about, the release of debtors. So basically anyone who's indebted to you, you relieve them of that debt. And the Israelites did it, after, in the 7th year. So let's say, someone owes you like $10,000, and whether or not they've been paying you or not, according to the, Israelites, the Israelites, once that 7th year comes, and whether or not they paid you or not, you got to relieve them of that debt. Now, personally, I'm not sure what the New Testament says about this. I do remember the New Testament saying that you are not supposed to deny help to someone that's in need. If you have the resources in order to help someone now, then you do that. but I'm not sure what the New Testament says about debts. I can't remember, and I do apologize for that. But me personally, though, my conviction is that you're supposed to pay people, what you owe. So I don't like being in debt to anyone. I love to pay people what I owe them. And then if someone is indebted to me, if they are, okay, so like I do know as Christians, we supposed to be open to receiving, gifts as well as giving to people. So if someone is adamant that they want to pay me back, even though I love doing things without expecting anything in return, so when I do for something for someone financially, I consider it as a loss, because I'm not looking for you to pay me back. But if they are really adamant about paying me back, I'll be like, okay, since you insist, since you want to pay me back so much, I'm going to give you the chance and the opportunity to do that. But after so long, if they haven't, been able to pay me back or whatever, I'm going to relieve them of their debt, because I don't want to have to worry about it, and I don't want them to have to worry about it. And it's just sort of like a chance for them to realize that I helped you because I knew you didn't have it. And I told and I helped you, out of the kindness of my heart, and not expecting no money or anything like that in return, and not wanting you to pay me back, because, I know that you can't pay me back, And even if you could pay me back, like if I had the money to do that, and if it didn't hurt me or whatever, then, I still wouldn't want you to pay me back, because I like to do things out of the kindness of my heart. If I'm financially stable and able to do something for somebody and it ain't gonna hurt me, then what I look like, excuse me, then what I look like, trying to have that person pay me back, So yeah, like when it come down to the relieving people of debt thing, I love it. I love relieving people of their debts. I don't like people owing me, and I don't like owing people either. So, but it's like for me, like if I had to, like if I was an Israelite, I'm a Gentile, but because I wasn't born in Jerusalem, I'm not a part of one of the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm not that. I was born in America, so obviously, I'm a Gentile. But if I was an Israelite, or even as a Gentile, if I did have to follow this law, thank you, Jesus, that I, don't have to, because of what he did on the cross. But yeah, like if I did have to follow this, that would be a long time to have to wait. Like I would have to wait. Like if someone has been indebted to me, like if someone ends up, being like $10,000 in debt to me, I would literally have to wait 7 years in order to relieve them of that debt. I would have to wait 7 years. And then what I also like about this is the fact that it goes on to say how you're not supposed to refuse to loan money to a person who already indebted to you, if it's like the 6th year and it's and in the 7th year coming up, and they finna almost be the time is coming up where they can be relieved of their debt. Like you still supposed to loan them the money in order to help them. So let's say a person, $10,000 in debt to me, and they haven't been making payments for whatever reasons or whatever, so they still indebted to me, and it's the 6th year, and it's like they only got a month left, before the 7th year come up to where they can be relieved of their debts. But they come to me and ask me for $2,000, $2,000. They need that for whatever. I cannot deny them that money. Like if I have that money, if I have that resource and stuff like that, and it's not gonna hurt me or whatever, and they need help, I cannot deny them that help. I can't. So, which in my opinion is good, because it helps the other person, because obviously they're in so much debt to you because they just don't have, like they struggling basically. Honestly, it reminds me of my mom. Like, I'm reminded of my mom because when I was doing my undergrad, getting my bachelor's degree and stuff, any refund money or anything like that I got from the school, I always helped her with it. So it took me I'm just gonna say 6 years, because basically I'm counting all of the time that I spent in college. My first year of college, it was at Maryville University, and I was doing physical therapy, but I decided to change my major and change colleges. So I went to UMSL, and I basically finished my undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree in social work at UMSL. And it took me 5 years to do that. But all of my classes and stuff like that I took at Maryville for that year, it did transfer over to UMSL. So so it's not like that year was a waste. So that's why I say it took me 6 years to do my my undergraduate, my bachelor's degree. So because of that, like, I got refund money like every year. Like I got refund money from the school the whole 6 years, but I also worked a work study job all 6 years. When I was at Maryville, I worked at this athletic center, and then when I was at UMSL, I worked for the college of education. I worked in they student services office basically. But yeah, and I worked there for the whole entire 5 years I was at UMSL. But yeah, like, I would use my work study money in order to help my mom, and I used my refund money from college in order to help my mom. So she felt like she was, like, in a whole lot of debt to me. But it's like, I knew her financial situation, and I'm looking like, Mom, you don't have to pay me back. Like, I know that you can't. Like, I want to relieve you of this debt. Like, you don't owe me anything anymore, Like, I'm relieving you of this debt. You don't owe me anything. But she will always be adamant that she want to pay me back. But it's like, I've spent so much. First of all, I've spent so much money on her that I haven't even kept track. So I don't even know how much she would have owed me total. Because I don't keep track of the good deeds that I do, because I just like to do this stuff and forget about it. I don't keep track of debts or whatever, because I don't want anyone to be indebted to me, because I love doing stuff out of the kindness of my heart and not expecting nothing in return. So I truly don't know how much money I've spent on my mom over the years, and I don't care to calculate it, because she doesn't owe me anything. I've relieved her of her debts. So, and it's funny that in the 7th year that the Israelites are supposed to relieve debts, because I feel like that's when I did it for my mom. I feel like that's when I did it. Like, after I graduated and everything, and once I started my master's, program at UMSL, I do remember going over to my mom's house and telling her that she don't owe me nothing. I relieved her of her debts. So that's interesting. But yeah, the whole entire time I was helping her, though, she was straight up trying, like, she just really wanted to pay me back, but I knew she couldn't, and she knew she couldn't. But I guess it made her feel better knowing that that I guess that she has the chance to pay me back or whatever. I don't know, but I'm glad that I relieved her of her debts, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about all of that. Plus, I didn't mind helping her anyway because I did live with her at the time. So, you know, it's like whatever happens to her happens to me. But even if I wasn't living with her and she needed help during that time, I still would have helped her, because I never feel comfortable sitting back and watching people struggle, or knowing that people struggling, when I have the resources and the finances and the physical capability and everything in order to help them. You know, like, I cannot do that. I can't. Like, I'm gonna help those in need, you know. So yeah, I have to talk about that. That reminded me of my mom, you know. Let me see what else, because I want to make sure I don't skip anything. Yeah, you're supposed to be generous and lend to people, you know, give people what they need. Yeah, don't refuse to. Alright, so the whole slave thing, after the slave has been working for you for 7 years, basically after the slave has worked for you for 6 years, like, on the, you know, in the 7th year, you're supposed to, you know, set that slave free if it want to be free. If the slave doesn't want to be free and wants to stay with you, then of course you gotta, you know, go through the process in order for them to stay with you. But I'm not sure where in the world slavery is still a thing. I'm not sure, but I don't doubt that it's still going on. But according to the Bible, back in the day, you know, back in the Old Testament times, the Israelites or whatever, you know, the Hebrews or whatever, you know, if they had slaves, you know, then if they had servants, then, you know, then they had to set them free after a certain time. So it's like your whole entire life wasn't, you know, dedicated to serving and being a slave. You know, you do have a chance to be set free, and that's cool. That's if you want to be set free, you know. Some people don't be wanting that, which is interesting. But, you know, hey, I mean, I understand if you got a good master, if you got a good, you know, if you got a good person who, you know, take care of you, they feed you, they clothe you, you know, provide the roof over your head and stuff, and you just serve them, shoot, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with that, honestly. It's like you're working for your room and board, basically. Like, it reminds me of that. Like, when I was at Maryville, and I stayed on campus, we had a residential assistant, so a RA, and basically their job was to take care of the dorms, you know, to do dorm room checks and you know, I don't know what else they did, but basically they worked for their room and board. So the school literally, you know, paid for their tuition, paid for their room, paid for their food and all that stuff, but they had to work for them in order to get that. So I was looking like, okay, like, that's cool. So when it comes down to a servant or whatever, they live in your house. You're responsible for that servant. You have to, if you're not gonna pay that servant wages, like, you're gonna have to feed that servant, clothe that servant. The servant has to stay with you inside of your house, so therefore that's their residence. You know, you're providing them shelter. You know, you have to take care of your servant so that way they can be able to serve you, you know. If you have a servant that you pay wages, I feel like, then either they live inside of your house, but with their wages they have to feed and clothe themselves, or you know, I don't know how it would work, but basically you are responsible for that servant and you got to take care of that servant. whether you paying them wages or whether or not, you know, you got some other arrangement. But once that 7th year come up, you gotta let them go if they want to be let go, you know. So, and then I love how it says in verse 18 that you're not supposed to consider it a hardship when you release your servants, you know, in that 7th year, because you know, when you set them free, because for 6 years they served you, and they gave you services that was worth double, you know, the wages of a hard worker. You know, like, they did a lot, they did extra, you know. So you know, and that's what I be thinking about sometimes. I think about all of the, well, honestly, I really don't know all of the services that I've done for my family, but I do think about it. I do think about how, as a child, all of the stuff I did for them in order to help them out and stuff, you know, how I had to mature and grow up, you know, early on in life, you know, not really have a childhood, because, you know, I had to serve and I had to help. You know, I had to help take care of my brother, and I had to help my mom. You know, I helped take care of my brother so much that he used to mistakenly call me mom sometimes, you know. Like, it is what it is. Like, but yeah, like, I've done so much for them that yeah, I thought about that when I read this scripture, because I'm looking like, I did a lot of service. I did a lot of things to where, yeah, ain't no way nobody in my family would have been able to afford paying me the wages worth the stuff that I was doing. Like, even now, like, the stuff that I be doing, it's, like, don't let an elder in the family get sick, man. Like, the stuff I be doing, I don't know. Like, it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. I love them, though, and I love doing things out of the kindness of my heart and stuff, and not expecting nothing in return. But, you know, shoot, I do think about that sometimes. Like my family, okay, it's like my family sometimes be taking advantage. They be trying to use you and stuff, because they feel like, you know, because you family, you supposed to come over and just do stuff for me for free. And I'm over here looking like, you know, we don't have the time to come over here and do stuff for you for free. Like, if you called an agency or a company or something like that and had them come up in here and do stuff for you, you would have to pay them wages. What make you think I have time to come over here and do stuff for you for free? Like, I cannot live off of free. Bills don't get paid off of free. Food don't get put inside of my mouth off of free. You know, like, I can't do that. I have to utilize my time wisely. If I'm finna come over here and do some work, some physical labor for you for some hours, like I can't do that for free. You know, especially if you know that I'm struggling and stuff. Like, I can't do that for free. I need to spend that time doing physical labor for someone that's gonna be paying me. You know, like, I can't do that for free. You know, like I just think about all the services that I've done, all of the years that I've been, you know, helping and doing stuff for my family, and I just want to get to a point where I'm financially stable and can take care of myself, and you know, I can enjoy my life, and, like, I don't know, like be able to rest a little bit, almost, like, and not have to do services, and basically I want to be free. Basically I want to be free, and I want to work for wages, so that way I can be able to provide for myself and do for myself. I'm tired of, you know, like, in a way, being a slave, basically, and providing all of these services and stuff, for the family. But they can, it's like I give, but, I give, but, like, I give my time. I give, like, I don't know, like y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like, if I'm not financially able to help somebody, I'll pray for you, and I'll give you my time and my energy and my physical strength, and what I can do physically, for you in order to help you out. But I mean, that takes away from me being able to, actually use those capabilities and that time in order for me to make money to, actually support myself and do stuff for me. I'm just ready to do stuff for me. I'm tired of, doing stuff for the family to that, to that capacity. Like, basically, I want my family to be responsible and take care of their own responsibilities, and for them to take care of themselves, and for me to not have to come and help all the time and come to the rescue and everything. It's like, even though they haven't asked me to do anything recently, it is because of the boundaries that I put up with them. Like, I don't really talk to them like that or really go visit or anything like that, because I know how they are. Like, it's like, if you show them that you care, then, then they want to try and utilize that or benefit from that in some kind of way. And I just don't feel like playing them games. So, but my bad. I had to talk about it because, I mean, this chapter has really, it's reminded me of my family and what I went through in the past and what I'm still going through now. But, like, I don't tolerate and I don't let happen. Like, it's like I just want to, be, like, completely free from it, though. Like, not have to, like, my boundaries is pretty much me distancing myself from my family so that way I can avoid being, taken advantage of or used or, disrespected or whatever. It's like that's the whole point. And to keep me from sinning, because, I mean, when I'm around my family, I notice that I when I'm around them, I notice I change a little bit, like them old ways start popping up. And I'm like, no, we not finna engage in this toxic behavior, sinful behavior or whatever, just to try and appease them or what. Like, we're not doing that. So, and the last part is just, it's just talking about sacrificing the firstborn animals. It's like, any time the firstborn animals got to be sacrificed or whatever, I just think about how out of my mom's children, I'm the firstborn, and I think about all of the sacrifices and things that I've done, that I've made as the firstborn child. I think about that. But yeah, it's cool. Yep, firstborn child, and I'm a girl, so, female, so, it is what it is. But yep, that's it. I held y'all enough. But this was a wonderful chapter. It just got me thinking about my life. But it's a wonderful chapter, though, and I thank y'all so much for listening. I love you. Jesus loves you, and have a blessed day. Bye.